Hello, well, I'll wake you up. Here we go. Let's see if I can make this work. Yeah, instant response, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I'm just going to introduce myself real quickly. Name is Scotty. Scott, you can call me Scotty. I run a team across 9 countries across Northern Europe, 30 incident responders. I'm an ex-Royal Marine, key factor on X, from the electronic warfare branch of Y Squadron. Worked alongside government services, the background in digital forensics. I know what you're asking, Scotty, why did you leave such a cool job to go work in the private sector? Honest answer, money. Very simple. When everything goes wrong in your life, but you're used to it. So today I want to talk about from an incident from my perspective. What does it look like, right? We're an incident response team. We deal with over 300 cases every year. That goes all the way from digital forensics, single endpoints, disgruntled employees, all the way up to live attackers and ransomwares. My team comes in, we hopefully sort the problem out, following a simple methodology: identify, contain, eradicate, recover. So what does that look like from my perspective in particular? So it's a Friday evening, always is a Friday evening, 5 o'clock. I've just finished work, I'm sat down with my kids. Emma says, do you want a beer? I say, yeah, go on then. And then my phone starts ringing, someone says, hey, we've got a client, they've called up, they're in a bit of a pickle, can you give them a hand? I say, okay, yeah, let's get on that scoping call, an initial call, just see what happened. We say, hello, CSIRT, Orange Cyber Defence, how can we help you? Here, you got an incident. They start talking, they say, walk me through what you've done so far. Tell us what's happened. And they say, well, on Monday, we made a detection. In my head, I think, Monday? But it's Friday afternoon. I mean, 4 days is a long time for a detection to raising it to an incident response and getting some help in. I don't say that, obviously. I'd say, okay, yeah, and what was the detection? Hey, it could be anything. It can be, hey, we've got this domain controller, domain admins created a local account, started running some executables. I've had it where they pulled up their screen on their EDR tools, on their SIEM platforms. They say, look at these alerts. I go, yeah, they're pretty bad. Probably should have called us sooner. And that's one of the points, is one of my main points, one of my points I want to bring up is, don't be afraid to call in help early. That first hour of our time is free. Right? A lot of teams is free. You can get an expert on the phone. We deal with it all the time. Half the time we look at it and go, false positive. Half the time we go, yeah, this is going to be a long weekend. Yeah, I'm not having that beer. So reach out for help. Don't feel that you're alone in it. I think Plato said, I know I don't know. I've been doing 15 years of digital forensics. Every day I get schooled by the analysts on my team who say, do you know this? And I go, yeah, I think I know that, but I don't. So be honest and say, hey, we've got these alerts. There's something going on in the network. We don't know. Let's find someone who does, who can help us. So the next part of the scoping call goes, okay, we understand there's an incident happening and you need us to help. Have you done the basics well prior to an incident? So the first thing we ask is, what does your network look like? Tends to be there's an IT guy, there's a manager, there's someone on the call, 2 or 3 people. You say, explain to me very quickly what the network looks like. He goes, oh, well, there's some computers. How many? Have you got an asset list? Do you know your network? Do you know what technologies you're using? Is there somewhere in the business? And what I see a lot is it tends to be one person who's worked there 30 years who goes, well, I built it all, so I know, and I think that's great, but what about everyone else, and what if you're not there? So if you've got an asset list, have you got where your telemetry is going to? A lot of people now, 7 years ago, incident response was very different to today. 7 years ago, I turn up on a network, they might have a signature-based antivirus solution, that's about it. Nowadays, we've got fantastic tools out there. EDR tools, SIEM platforms, you're pulling in the logs, you're keeping that evidence centralized. But where is it? Who's got access? How do we get to it? And do you know what you already have? Now, we, as a CSIRT team, specialize in collecting forensics evidence, so we have our own tools, our own collectors, and we can come in and help. But it slows down that incident response process. Rather than going, okay, let's get hold of the data and start the analysis, we have to go, okay, let's get access to the network and start collecting data. That 8 to 10 hours can be key sometimes. Have you got an instant response plan? Really simple. Everyone says, instant response plan. You'll have heard it today quite a lot. Who does what when? And how are people going to communicate? That should all be in that instant response plan. Now is the time when you've called my team to get that out. And there's a big difference in clients who sit there and go, well, I'm in charge and that was it. And other clients who go, okay, it's detailed out. These are the teams. These are the communication paths. This is what we're going to do. It gives you that sort of central focus to work around. So once we've done the identification and we've done the collection, normally we start doing our analysis. At some point within the first 12 to 48 hours, We present our findings. We come up to we get everyone on the call, and we say, right, we've done our analysis. We figured out some things, not everything. This is how it happened. A lot of the time, there's IT staff and executives don't want to hear what we have to say. Something's gone wrong, obviously. So we're there saying, hey, you had a web server that was 9 years out of date. At that point, silence in the room. There's a key turning point in the incident at that point, from my perspective. Either a client will turn around and go, yeah, okay, we've made mistakes, how do we fix it? Or it descends into chaos, and I have witnessed fistfights. I've seen more violence in boardrooms than I did in 11 years in the Marines, right? At that point is when they turn around and it starts going, well, I told you to patch that, or you didn't pay us the money to get this business in. Not helpful in an incident. It doesn't help anyone. You want to keep your head, you want to turn around and go, well, how do we fix it now? Something's already happened, nothing we can do about the past. What do we need to do now? And my last and final point really is not to panic. One of the worst things I see all the time is they call us, they say, yeah, we detected something, we turned it all off, or we've ripped cables out the wall. And I go, okay, pardon me, are you sure that stopped the attack? You've ripped out your VPN, so how are we going to get on to do the investigation? You've turned off that VM and deleted it. There was key evidence on that. We needed to know where the next hop was from. You're going to make the job of investigating very hard. Knee-jerk reactions aren't always the best. So don't panic. There is always time. If you are, I've never been on an incident where there's been an hour before a payload's been left. If you've left it that late, it's too late. Most of the time, there is time to get on, do your process, identify, contain, eradicate, recover, and get them off. If you find yourself in need of help, give us a call. On the side of the fence or outside, you can always catch me afterwards, but get yourself some help when you need it and how you need it. Thank you very much.